Order. 10:06. Adopt the agenda.
There's additions.
Paul? Oh, go ahead. When?
Andrew wanted to add museum.
No.
Your guys' vote.
Okay. He added the agenda with museum added.
I will do so.
Any other additions? All in favor? Carried. Adopt the minutes, adoption of the minutes. 3-1. Ernie,
Go for it, please.
any problems with the minutes? All in favor? Delegations, there is none.
Well, there
Report,
kind of is one.
there kind of is one, like Kelly's on the
She's
line.
on the line to report on the ASB audit, so there's no delegation because she's doing that.
Okay, you want to do it now?
No, we can go through the report.
Okay, we'll do your report on 5.1. Go ahead, Quentin.
Okay, so we're still compiling a list of brush sites to be sprayed for 23. Obviously because of the snow, working on Waffle Lagoon reclamation has stopped. We will seed in the spring. Working on a presentation for in-service training. We did our fall jug run for chemical jugs at transfer sites. So now we're into reviewing policies. They'll start presenting in the new year, all the egg policies. And I'm reviewing our emergency livestock response plan for emergency management and for the provincial emergency team. And attended AAAF regional meeting, the regional conference in Lacombe. AAAF Fieldman meeting, and we're just keeping up on equipment rentals.
Any questions to Quentin? Les?
Just one. I was at the transfer station in Weimar on Saturday, and I see there was quite a few jugs in the compound for the jugs, so that they must have come in after your crew cleaned. Or
There's still some out there. We're working on the nice days. We will pick up what's left.
oh, I just didn't know if that was going to be a next year program, but it'll just.
I don't know when we'll get chipped again.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay.
And you'll see a few pictures of the Clement pit to follow. This is the one that's under review by Alberta Environment Parks. Pretty short grass.
Red grass all over it. Go ahead.
I was just wondering if we don't really know a date when the province will inspect, and typically does that landowner use that pasture in the spring? And if so, I would suggest we should maybe fence it before, if it's going to be a late spring or early summer inspection by the province, we definitely want some grass there.
I will contact the landowners and ask them to hold off on grazing this quarter until after it's after it's reviewed.
Yeah, that makes good sense to me because we've waited so long for this and we've been grumping at the government for not doing it, and we definitely want it ready when they do come.
Can I get a motion for that?
Just a minute. Paul, you had information you wanted?
Yeah, I just wanted to let you know, because I'm a neighbor and it's just across the road more or less. Yeah, they do raise it from end of May right through. And it's not them themselves, it's all rented out, so.
Yeah, when I talked to the landowner last, he had some in there, but he also had a neighbor with some in there. There was a lot of cows in there.
Yeah.
That would have been, when was I there? September, middle of September? There was a lot of cows in there.
Yeah, and they start right at the end of May right through.
We got 80 posts in last week. Go ahead.
Well, I would like to make the motion that the county administration contact the landowner and make it very clear that this provincial inspection is coming up and that it cannot be grazed before the inspection, and if he does need it to be grazed, he has to fence it, because we just do not want to lose
It's the
this.
entire quarter. Right?
No, it's just fence off you just fence off what ground where the pit was. Why would we fence the whole quarter?
Well, the whole quarter is fenced. We'll just block the gate.
Oh, okay. I was thinking just the site, but yeah.
Just for clarification, do we control the quarter or does the landowner? Because we're paying them a lease on this, correct? What is the lease state that says that can we control what they do to it?
They're allowed to graze it as per the agreement.
What is the agreement?
Can you pull that up?
Just fence off where the pit was.
Dave?
Yeah, go ahead.
Quentin, how many, we lease the whole 160 acres, or do we lease 40 acres, or do we lease?
I gotta look again. I believe it's the full quarter we've leased on this one.
If it is, we
There's
should.
a lot of brush on it, but
Lease for this.
sorry.
If we do lease it, we should be able to control it for this inspection especially, so.
Well,
And get a letter out to him right away that he can't pasture until he gets it okay from us next year.
Go ahead.
So, Mr. Chairman, it bothers me in the sense that we're gonna pay him another lease payment, yet he's the one that keeping us from getting the certificate of reclamation. I mean, if it was me, that'd be pretty cool beans, right? Oh yeah, inspection's coming. I'm gonna throw 180 cows out there and I'm gonna make sure that the inspection fails till I get another lease. I'm not saying that's what this gentleman's doing, but I mean, at the end of the day, we need to get this cleaned up. And if we're controlling the lease, then let's control the lease. This idea of, okay, we're going to work on goodwill. Goodwill hasn't worked very well it has worked very well in the past, but we're in a new world. We need to start holding our agreements and holding them to.
So if we rent the whole thing, then we rent
The
the
controls that needs to deal with it. That's what we need. Plain and simple. If it's us or it's them.
And if we don't rent the whole thing, then we need to fence off what we
rent off what we do have, yeah.
in order to.
And you still can fence. We put 80 posts in the ground last weekend. There's something to think about. So I can get on the thing with him.
we're just pulling it up here now.
Yeah, it might take us a bit to.
Well, we'll just leave it. We'll go back to it.
Regardless, whichever way it works on the size, as long as we protect our interests, and because the payers don't want to be paying leases any further when we got this opportunity to have it cleared with a certificate from the government now. It's so close, we won't want to lose this opportunity, because we don't know how long we're going to have to wait for the next inspection.
But again, it does
We
fail.
lobbied hard on the government.
Yeah.
To fail now when we get to the finish line is not right.
And if they have pictures of that upper picture it's totally overgrazed, like we don't even have a leg to stand on.
Exactly.
We'll just wait till that comes up, carry on, and we'll come back to it.
Pretty well my report, just, there was a comment, we wanted to see pictures from Clement Pit. I apologize, I had more in grass and I deleted them. But I went back out, took some when we first had the snow, show you what the area looks like.
I got a motion on the floor for them basically to instruct the landowner to not graze it.
Till inspection's off.
Action, yeah.
That's pretty straightforward. Any other comments on that? None? All in favor of Mr. Stillbridge's motion? Carried. I guess you got direction, Quentin. What about the other pit? Go ahead, Wes.
I was just gonna say if Mr. Wilmot's report is finished, I would move to accept the
What
report.
about the other pit? Can you give the rest of the board the information that you give me on it? Not naming names,
That's what
naming.
we're talking about.
This is the old one.
Yeah, this is the one where the piles, Mr. Clement wants the piles to be left. Yeah, I have a signed note in the file.
And the pile can stay there as long as he signs off on it, just so that everybody gets the same information as I got. Okay? So if
The
he
other piece
signs
of
off on it,
information I'd rather leave till after the meeting and I can tell you guys, because I don't know if it's a quick thing or not.
Okay, fair enough. That's, don't want to get yourselves in trouble. You moved it, Les?
Yeah, I will move to administration report.
All in favor? Carried. Moving on. Station report. We went through the gravel reclamation thing.
Is that what that was about? The gravel reclamation was just the piles? Was that what your question was?
Yeah, that was my question. That they've been there for a while and the other one don't have piles on it. And get it reclamated and get it off the books. Ernie?
So the northwest one, that's the one that has the piles of rock and.
No, the northeast one.
No,
Northeast of 28 has two piles. I would call them spoil piles. There's two piles of dirt and gravel that he has signed off saying he wants them left. In the file that Mr. Bishop is looking at right now, there'll be a note in there once he gets to it.
Yeah, no, I don't see it in the digital system, I'll have to go look at it. Okay.
But on the northwest one, there is a pile of rock and debris within that pile. Are they gonna be sent, that's the second one.
Yeah,
So
I
they-
think you're both talking about the same one, whether it's West.
So that one, it's not been up for reclamation yet. Okay, but like, is that rock pile, is it gonna have to be removed, or is the landowner going to be signing off with that pile on there?
I'll find out. I don't know yet.
Because it is a fairly large pile. Okay, thank you.
Go ahead.
Is that the board member gender, is that the one with the screen thing that was sitting in those pictures?
No, that's the northeast one.
So it's the one without the screen, or that. Sector,
Acre, whatever it is. So the other one, you gotta get back to us in the next meeting or what?
Give me a second.
Give you a second.
Mr. Chairman, you bring back that lease, that can come back next meeting. That's, you don't have to force administration.
No, we're good with that. Quentin, we're just gonna move on.
I'll have to bring it back.
Yeah, just bring it back. We're gonna move on. Receive it your information. All,
I will do that.
all in favor? Carried.
Mr. Chairman, what did we receive for information?
That it's gonna come back to the next meeting. That's what we're going to do. Museum, Counselor, or Board Member Gender, go ahead.
Like I filled in with, from Justin on the last one, so like I'd never really known about this one. It's the Estonian log house that, I guess there's eating bugs in there, wood eating bugs in there. So like, I'm just kind of wondering, yeah, they'd asked you to do something, they've got an exterminator or some other one. I just want to have the whole board here know like what's really going on here.
So they've got powder post bugs. That's what did you get that email, Andrew?
With pictures?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so this first picture, you guys can see it, all the little holes. They're like the end of your pen, a little bigger than the end of your pen. That is a powder post beetle or a powder post bug that is eating into the wood, creating sawdust on the ground. It's been identified. We can't exterminate for them. They had an exterminator come out, tell them what they need to do. They just need to do it. So that's the sawdust that they pick up, I don't know, weekly or bi-weekly from the bugs in the wood. It's 150-year-old house, log house, right? It's dry wood.
What's the issue?
What's the issue?
I guess, like they had asked Quentin to look at it. They got a hold of, Quentin gave him a suggestion. They also got a hold of some outfit in Red Deer. in order to exterminate, so whether they are not following up on all of their sequences on how often they're supposed to do it, I don't know.
I don't have the proper license to exterminate for them. I don't have my insecticide applicator's license.
So you're asking Quentin to do the job, is that what you're saying?
I just want some information on it.
So this is
From a powder post bug. Powder post, powder.
Board member Stevens?
This next picture, sorry, is there a question?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
the next picture.
Picture, this is a bracket fungus. That's the easier way to word it. It's a crust fungus. Not really seen out in this part of the world. It's usually a northeast United States issue. It's a UK problem. It's a type of fungus. It's in the mushroom family. So a fungicide will clean it up. It's from decaying wood. So what this is gonna do is soften the wood a little as it takes out. Picture a stump. The core is all growing in vertical lines, and what this is doing is softening those lines, and it's gonna make the wood soft after years. It's like rot. When you split your wood pile and that bottom row you didn't burn for 4 years becomes it's got kind of a white look to it and becomes soft. That's what this is doing. It's a fungus. A fungicide would clean it up. You gotta knock off the mushroom, I guess you call it. Apply a fungicide. It's an old building.
Is there something you can treat it, or do you know if you can treat this so that it doesn't, like with something or what?
Like to prevent it from coming
Coming
back.
back, I don't know
Back.
that part.
This is,
Go ahead.
this has been an ongoing issue for close to 3 years, as I understand it.
Yeah.
They have inquired, Quentin made some recommendations. He cannot perform the work due to a license. He doesn't have the license for insecticide. Part two of this is it's a 100-plus-year-old house with 100-plus-year-old antiques in it. Given that our staff isn't trained in this, this is well outside their wheelhouse, I would be hesitant to commit our staff to doing this. There's a liability issue when it comes to antiques. This is way outside of our strength. And during the email that came through last night from some of the museum board, they questioned whether it's even safe for the public. Well, if that's their question and they've raised that alarm bell, I do not want our staff making that call and taking responsibility for this. So I support them in getting it looked at, but I don't think it should be us examining this. There's professionals that deal with this, and I think that that is the best option.
Them exterminators, Quentin, the exterminators out of Red, they're working, and them, why would they not call?
And they had an exterminator come out. I don't know what company. I don't know that part. I can't clean this up. What I can do is I can offer to pay for the exterminator. I can do that, but I can't do the work myself.
Mr. Chairman, I'm pretty sure when we called this to order, it was Ag Service Board, wasn't it?
That's what it is, and you're getting over that wheel.
Noxious, or is this a bug that is somehow going to go across the province? Is this something that isn't even in your wheelhouse?
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to receive this for information.
Sounds good. Would you, before we go, Quentin, they'll probably phone Quentin to get a hold of him. Just tell him to look at, get them guys out of Red Deer to come and do it. We're not doing it. Okay?
Councilor Gay is on.
I just wanted to know if they're just trying to preserve this building or if they're going after historical designation down the road. If you're going after historical designation down the road, then it becomes a provincial.
It already has that, actually.
It already has that.
The Estonian Society applied for that. If you go to the museum and you do the tour, you can see all the buildings that have historical designation.
Okay, well, then they,
Black in front of each one, yeah.
then they could get the information to the historical society of who they, what they need to do and whatever else to update that building. Usually when it goes that way, they've got to put it back to the original state, so it's sometimes hard to find that line. So,
I don't know why they ended up with Quentin.
thank you.
Okay, thanks. Steve for information. James, all in favor? Carried. Moving on. Business arising from the minutes. None. New business, 8-1.
So 8-1, I have a request for decision to cancel the December 28th ASB meeting as council last month, 2 meetings ago. Made a motion to close administration from the, help me out, 23rd to the 2nd, if I'm not mistaken. This meeting falls within that time.
Need a motion, Larry?
I'll make the motion.
Any questions? All in favor? Carried. Moving on to January.
January 25. Okay, so similar situation here. Ag Service Board Provincial Conference is January 17 to 20, I think, whatever year, 17 to 19, which is when I would submit this package for our January 25 meeting. By the time we get back from conference, it's going to be tight to get a package out. Your choice. I'm looking to cancel that meeting just to make life easier in January.
Show of hands, you want to cancel it or you want to move it to a different date or what?
February, third week in February would be a good time.
Third week of February?
The week before conference would be your council meeting.
Show of hands, who's in favor of canceling January's?
Have a motion on that, Mr. Chairman?
I take a motion from Les.
I'll move that we cancel the January meeting.
Okay. All in favor? Carried. Correspondence? No. None. Year-to-date financials.
So nothing exciting is popping out at me at this point. Got a little money left here and there, just trying to ease next year's budget, top off a few PPA type items and spray equipment.
Any questions? Steve for information. Justin? All in favor? Carried. Audit. Report, page 10.
Hey, Ms. Jackson, can you hear us?
I sure can. Can you hear me?
You bet.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for having me come. We had a really good visit in June to go through all of the requirements. So as I said, it's a little bit different process than what had been done in the past. So we looked at identifying what the requirements are and then assessing those against what we see in documentation and what we see during the visit. So there were a series of recommendations that came out of that visit. Those are categorized either as critical, significant, or enhancement. Critical are recommendations are ones that have the potential to impact grant funding, and significant ones are ones that they are to help you align better with the enabling legislation. Enhancement are the nice to do's. Those are the continuous improvement, and it's up to you whether it makes sense or not. So when we put out the recommendations, this is really a discussion between your fieldman, the board, and the ASB program. So we put forward what we see as a way to better, in this case, all your recommendations are in the significant category. So how to better align. So you look at your situation, you look at what the recommendation is, and then you make a decision as to what you're going to do about that. So you may agree with it, you may disagree with it, you may want to modify it. So as it stands, we have put out recommendations on creating an ASB policy, appointing the appeal board for the upcoming calendar year, to add a statement that the ASB is the appeal committee for SCA. And this basically, by having that ASB Act policy, would also, in essence, address that particular requirement. And then it goes into your appointment of inspectors. So just looking at the appointment so it aligns with the legislation, and then just looking at the number of inspectors for APA just to ensure that it meets the requirements there. The next one under SCA is looking to your monitoring adverse soil conditions, and then it's just adding some kind of steps to track those actions. And then the final one is on the resource management. So we had a break in delivering resource management events and topics and things. So it's just working with Dale and his group to see what would be acceptable for the final year of the grant agreement. So that's kind of what we found. And as you can tell, it's a very, very well-run board, and the activities under it substantially meet all of the requirements. These are just things that, would help you to better align with the legislation. So any questions or thoughts on the process or what the recommendations are? The timelines, of course, they're negotiable. It's not, we just throw that up so that we can track them and get things closed out, hopefully before we're into the next round of field visits.
Questions? Have you got any questions, Kevin?
The timelines are very doable. In fact, I've already sent Ms. Jackson, I don't even know now, 4 or 5 emails on things that we have already completed, right? For example, adding the term dates to our appeal board, when they become effective to when they're not effective, right? Even though our organizational meeting appoints them for this year, we added those dates, if you remember, in, I'm not even sure when that was. I think our August meeting, we added dates to that. So a lot of these things, we're starting to check them off already.
Pretty simple, Kelly.
Straightforward. You got all dates and everything, spring and all that.
Yeah, it's supposed to just really help you have those discussions around those things, what you need, what you want to include, things like that. But we're not trying to go in and say, put this specific, piece in. When we do refer to those kind of things, it's in the legislation on what those terms are. And then you also had a policy that referred to the appeal committee, so I included that so you could cross-reference and update it in there.
Justin? Motion? Accepted.
I will give you the motion that we accept the ASB audit report as presented.
All in favor? Carried. Committee report.
Thank you, Kelly.
Great, thank you. Appreciate that. And if there are any questions, yeah, Quentin, you know how to find me.
Absolutely.
See you.
All right, thanks, everyone.
Meetings, reports, conference report. Nothing. Go on to, for next meeting is February the 22nd. And we'll go down to seminar, provincial ag service for a conference in Grand Prairie.
So I emailed you guys the agenda package last night or yesterday afternoon.
We received that.
Okay. What I'm looking for with that agenda package is who's going and how many extra banquet tickets I need. Now is the time to register. In the agenda, you can get a chance to look at it. Is Quick Dick the guest speaker? I heard at a conference I was at last week from the organizers that they have him coming out as a guest speaker. I don't know anybody who's seen him, but he's a Saskatchewan farm boy that's turned comic turned guest speaker. He's hilarious and he's very on point, so.
I'm not sure if
I'm
you,
just doing a quick.
Go ahead, Justin.
No.
So that's what I understand from them, that he's coming out, so he would be worth the conference in itself. He's not coming out to this conference. I'm not gonna, in Grand Prairie,
Right.
he is the understanding he is,
he
not on the agenda.
may not be listed under that name.
Right.
So
Well, that's what you want to put in there.
maybe he's the entertainment, QDM.
Mm-hmm.
That's him, QDM. So, yeah, he may not go under that. So yes, that's, if that is there, that'd be well worth it.
Be worth the trip. Who is going? Mr. Nyberg.
I will be in, but I will be flying solo, I'm sure, in January at -30. I'm sure that my wife has absolutely no idea.
Oh, it's never just to 30 up at Grand Prairie. Come on.
Yeah, you're right, it never gets up to -30.
Up to 30, usually below.
Hey,
Les,
No, I won't make it.
what's going?
hey,
Justin?
I missed out last year, so I better make it this year. I'll go, but just one.
Oh. Yeah, 2. Are you going 1?
okay, I will book the rooms and register us this afternoon.
Anybody got any other things you want to ask about the conference? I'd like to know if that guy's coming or not.
He is.
He is, okay, good.
That's what I saw on there. That's what's good. That's what he'll be under.
And the 17th, if you're that reception or whatever,
Yeah.
is it like the one last time in Grand Prairie where it was just kind of a trade fair thing?
Yeah, the 17th, registration, conference opens, and a welcome gala with MPs and MLAs. Doesn't look like an actual trade show. It looks more like a meet and greet with ministers, MPs, and MLAs.
Because the last time was pretty slow first day, so.
Yeah. And so Tuesday starts at 4:00. Registration opens. The welcome gala starts at 6 p.m. So Tuesday can, I don't know, what's Grand Prairie, 6.5, 6 hours?
You have to be spanking pretty hard, you know?
I haven't actually looked it up. I can't remember.
70 something.
I booked any plane tickets. So yeah, it does look.
Starland's flying, just so you know, Starland's flying. It's cheaper for them to fly.
Is it? They're going? Yeah, it looks like Tuesday's your travel day and then gala that night. Be a busy day, but
Okay.
busy day Wednesday, Thursday is 2/3 of a day, and then we have our banquet and resolution sessions and whatnot, and then Friday's your travel day home.
We know who it all going and, I don't think we need to move anything there. In camera,
camera for me.
Anything else? You got something there, Justin?
You had suggested there might be something that you wanted to discuss on point. Would that not make sense? We go into camera for that?
Have to remind me what it was I was talking.
I thought we should,
I think it was something about
Oh.
gravel pits,
Okay,
I think.
we could either,
Either go in camera or during the meeting, whichever way.
during the meeting.
Just,
Adjournment? Oh, our attorney